The afternoon sun cast long shadows across our living room as I idly scrolled through my phone. A harmless text intended for my brother became the catalyst for the unraveling of my once happy marriage. Everly lay next to me, her rhythmic breathing suggesting an afternoon nap. Curiosity piqued by the unusual notification on my brother's message, I opened it, thinking it might be a harmless anecdote or casual news. What greeted me, however, was a shock that jolted me to my core: explicit messages and intimate photos exchanged between Everly and a mysterious figure named Jack. Disbelief mingled with a rising sense of dread as I scanned through the conversations, each word carving into my trust like a knife. I stared at the screen, grappling with the harsh reality that my wife, the person I thought I knew so well, was harboring a secret life. My heart pounded and a lump formed in my throat. "Hey, what's wrong?" Everly's voice interrupted my silent turmoil. I mustered a weak smile, concealing the storm raging within me. "Just some work stress," I replied, slipping the phone into my pocket. I spent the evening wrestling with the newfound knowledge, unable to shake off the betrayal that festered within my thoughts. The once familiar walls of our home seemed to close in, trapping me in a world now tainted by suspicion and mistrust. The revelation echoed in my mind, like a haunting melody refusing to fade into the background. As the evening shadows lengthened, I grappled with the decision to confront Everly or to bury the truth and pretend everything was still intact. The weight of the secret pressed upon me, and the journey into the unknown had only just begun. The following day dawned, carrying with it the heavy burden of the discovery that now threatened the foundation of my 8-year marriage. As Everly left for work, I sat alone in the quiet house, the weight of the truth pressing down on me. An internal struggle raged within. To confront or to silently endure the betrayal. The images of explicit messages and intimate photos lingered, fueling the burning need for answers. I couldn't let this betrayal fester without understanding the depths of the deception. As the sun climbed higher, I found myself drawn to Everly's phone, left unguarded on the kitchen counter. The desire for clarity overpowered any sense of guilt, and I began scouring through her messages and calls, seeking patterns, hidden meanings, anything that would unravel the web of deceit. Everly's voice echoed in the corridor as she returned home. "How was your day, honey?" Her innocent inquiry seemed like a cruel irony. "Just the usual," I replied, my mind preoccupied with the deceit I was unraveling. The investigation became a clandestine affair, each silent inquiry casting a darker shadow on our once shared life. I delved into late-night conversations, tracing the thread of deceit through coded messages. The more I discovered, the more I realized the complexity of the affair. One evening, as the tension between us grew palpable, Everly looked at me with concern. "Is everything okay, love? You seem distant." The weight of my discovery hung heavy in the air, but I feigned a smile. "Just work stress, Everly. Nothing to worry about." The decision to investigate was not only about unraveling the truth, but also about preserving the fragments of trust that remained. The choices before me seemed daunting, and the path I chose would lead to either redemption or a deeper descent into the shadows of betrayal. Days blurred into nights as my covered investigation deepened. The secrecy that once defined our marriage now manifested in covert messages, late-night phone calls, and a newfound awareness of the double life Everly led. Each revelation intensified the sinking feeling in my stomach. One evening, Everly sat across from me at the dinner table, unaware of the turmoil within me. "You've been distant lately. Is everything okay?" Her eyes searched mine, but I diverted my gaze, feigning a smile. "Just work stressed, Everly. You know how it is." The intimacy of our shared space felt like a facade as I continued to uncover the layers of deception. The explicit talk and the photos exchanged with Jack were undeniable evidence. Yet the complexity of their clandestine affair revealed itself in coded conversations and planned rendezvous. A wave of frustration washed over me as I confronted the harsh truth. The woman I thought I knew so well harbored a realm of secrets, hidden behind the mundane facade of our shared life. As the night deepened, I couldn't escape the gnawing feeling that our once shared memories were now tainted by the shadows of betrayal. "Is something bothering you?" Everly's voice, laced with concern, broke through the silence as we prepared for bed. I hesitated, caught between the urge to confide and the fear of escalating the confrontation prematurely. "Just tired, Everly. Let's get some rest." The investigation led me into the heart of their secret world. Late-night rendezvous, covert phone calls, and coded conversations became the backdrop of my nights. I was determined to unveil the entirety of their secrecy, regardless of the toll it took on my emotional well-being. The walls of our shared life seemed to crumble with each revelation, and the choices before me became increasingly complex. Unveiling the secrecy was a painful journey, but I couldn't turn back. The truth awaited, shrouded in the darkness of their betrayal. Determined to expose the truth, I embarked on a late-night stakeout, shrouded by the cloak of darkness. The city's muted hum and dimly lit streets became the stage for my silent pursuit of answers. Under the veil of the night, I trailed Everly's movements, a shadow navigating through the echoes of her secret life. My heart raced with each step, fueled by a mix of trepidation and the thirst for validation. The city's neon glow illuminated my path as I followed her to a nondescript motel, the scene of clandestine rendezvous with Jack. A whispered exchange of words and glances spoke volumes as I observed them from a distance. The weight of their betrayal became palpable, a heavy presence in the quiet night air. Dialogues unheard and emotions unspoken played out before my eyes, painting a picture of deceit that no amount of evidence could fully capture. As I hid in the shadows, I overheard a hushed conversation between Everly and Jack, their words carried by the wind. "Are you sure we won't get caught?" Jack's voice, tainted with a mixture of excitement and anxiety, reached my ears. Everly's response was a soft reassurance, a promise of continued secrecy that sent shivers down my spine. The motel door closed behind them, sealing the clandestine encounter within its walls. The night held its breath, awaiting the revelation that would either bring closure or plunge me further into the abyss of betrayal. Back at home, the weight of the night's events hung heavy in the air. Everly, returning home, found me sitting in the dimly lit living room, a silent witness to her clandestine world. "Is everything okay?" Her voice trembled with an underlying tension. I met her gaze, my eyes reflecting the turmoil within. "We need to talk, Everly." The late-night stakeout had unraveled a truth that demanded confrontation, and the room became a battlefield where words would be weapons in the war against deception. The night's revelations hung in the air like an impending storm as Everly stepped into the dimly lit living room. The tension between us crackled, the silence a canvas awaiting the brushstrokes of confrontation. With an unspoken acknowledgement of the elephant in the room, Everly hesitated, her eyes avoiding mine. "Is something wrong?" she finally asked, her voice wavering with a feigned innocence that only fueled my frustration. "We need to talk, Everly," I declared, the weight of the words heavy in the charged atmosphere. Her eyes met mine, a flicker of unease crossing her face before she composed herself. "About what?" she replied, attempting to maintain a facade of ignorance. I gestured toward her phone, a silent indictment of the betrayal etched in explicit messages and intimate photos. "This," I said, the single word carrying the weight of my discovery. The room seemed to close in around us as I unraveled the layers of deceit, detailing the late-night stakeout and the motel encounter with Jack. Everly's eyes widened, the realization dawning upon her that the carefully constructed walls of her secret world were crumbling. "I can explain," she stammered, her voice a desperate plea for understanding. But explanations were futile against the concrete evidence of her betrayal. As the confrontation escalated, the door swung open, revealing the unexpected presence of my sister-in-law, Lily. "What's going on here?" she demanded, her eyes darting between us, catching the fragments of an unraveling truth. I turned to Lily, my voice laden with the weight of betrayal. "Your sister has been having an affair with Jack." The words hung in the air, a declaration that shattered the illusion of a united family. Lily's face contorted with shock, anger, and a hint of disbelief. "Is this true, Everly?" she asked, her voice a mix of accusation and concern. The room became a battleground, emotions colliding in a whirlwind of accusations and revelations. Confrontation loomed, a decisive moment that would either salvage the remnants of trust or herald the irreversible breakdown of a once solid foundation. The aftermath of the confrontation left us teetering on the edge of a legal abyss. The revelations had torn through the fabric of our relationships, leaving behind a trail of shattered trust and impending legal consequences. Days blurred into a haze of uncertainty as the echoes of the confrontation lingered. Legal ramifications loomed large, a dark cloud overshadowing the wreckage of our once intact lives. Everly and Lily, faced with the fallout, sought restraining orders against my brother and me. In the midst of the legal turmoil, I found myself sitting across from a divorce attorney, the sterile office a stark contrast to the warmth that once characterized my marriage. "This will be a challenging journey," the attorney remarked, glancing at the evidence of Everly's betrayal scattered across the table. The specter of restraining orders and potential court battles cast a long shadow over our lives. My brother and I faced the grim reality that our pursuit of truth had unleashed a legal maelstrom, threatening to consume not only our relationships, but also our financial stability. Lily's voice, laden with frustration, rang in my ears during a heated phone call. "You've ruined everything with your investigation. Now we're all caught up in this mess." Her anger resonated with the bitter taste of regret, a sentiment shared by all entangled in the web of betrayal. Everly, caught between guilt and defiance, uttered words that reverberated through the legal battlefield. "I never thought it would come to this. You didn't have to take it so far," she lamented, her eyes reflecting the consequences of her actions. The divorce attorney's advice echoed like a somber refrain: fines, legal battles, and the potential dissolution of the life we had built together. Legal ramifications were now the harsh reality we faced, a consequence of unraveling the web of deceit that had woven itself into the fabric of our relationships. The journey ahead promised not only emotional turmoil but also a legal odyssey that would redefine the contours of our lives. As legal ramifications loomed, a sense of urgency propelled me into a race against time. The evidence gathered during my investigation became both a shield and a weapon, and the impending court battles drove me to seek additional validation before the legal storm hit. Days melded into nights as I immersed myself in the task at hand. A relentless pursuit of more evidence to fortify my position. Late-night conversations with private investigators, hurried consultations with lawyers, and a constant barrage of research consumed my every waking moment. My brother, caught in the same whirlwind, voiced his concerns during one of our tense exchanges. "We need to be strategic about this, plan our moves carefully. We can't afford any missteps," he emphasized, the weight of our shared predicament reflected in his eyes. Lily's resentment lingered like a persistent shadow, a sentiment that fueled her words during a strained phone call. "Your obsession with unraveling the truth has dragged us all into this chaos. What do you hope to achieve with this race against time?" Her frustration resonated through the receiver, a testament to the collateral damage wrought by the pursuit of justice. Everly's attempts at reconciliation were met with a steely resolve. "I never thought it would come to this. Can't we find a way to settle things without destroying everything we've built?" She pleaded, her voice tinged with desperation. But the urgency of the situation left little room for compromise. The divorce attorney's advice echoed in my mind. Every piece of evidence, every witness statement, and every strategic move became crucial in the impending legal battles. The race against time was a relentless push to gather enough ammunition to weather the storm that threatened to engulf us all. Amid the chaos, a realization dawned. The web of deceit was not only unraveling our relationships, but also reshaping the contours of our lives. The choices made in this race against time would determine not only the outcome of the legal battles, but also the future paths we would each be forced to tread. As the storm of legal battles approached, the looming question became whether redemption or retribution would emerge from the wreckage of our shattered lives. Choices made in this tumultuous journey would define not only the legal outcomes, but also the emotional landscapes we would navigate. In a dimly lit lawyer's office, my brother and I faced the gravity of our decisions. The evidence is strong, but emotions run high in court. "Brace yourselves for a challenging trial," the attorney warned, his words a somber reminder of the turbulent path ahead. A heated conversation with Lily underscored the toll our pursuit of truth had taken on our relationships. "You think gathering all this evidence will make everything right? It won't bring back what we've lost," she retorted, a mixture of anger and sorrow coloring her words. Everly, caught in the crossfire of our pursuit, pleaded for an alternative path. "Can't we find a way to settle this without destroying everything we've built?" she implored, her voice a fragile plea for mercy. The fragility of our shared past became a battleground for conflicting emotions. Amidst the legal maelstrom, a glimmer of redemption emerged, a possibility to salvage what remained of trust and rebuild fractured lives. The divorce attorney's counsel resonated, urging restraint and a pursuit of closure rather than retribution. Yet the desire for justice and the lingering pain of betrayal fueled a competing urge for retribution. The evidence gathered, the late-night stakeouts, and the relentless pursuit of truth now stood as instruments of potential revenge. As the courtroom drama unfolded, the emotional toll became evident in the faces of those entangled in the legal battles. The judge's gavel became a harbinger of either redemption, a chance to rebuild and heal, or retribution, a relentless pursuit of punishment for the sins of betrayal. In the final moments of the trial, as the judge prepared to deliver the verdict, the room hung heavy with anticipation. The choices made in the pursuit of redemption or retribution had set the stage for the aftermath, promising either a path to healing or a descent into the abyss of irreparable damage. The courtroom held its breath, awaiting the resolution that would shape the destinies of those entangled in the web of betrayal and legal battles. Thank you for listening to the story to the end, and if you like it, please support us with a like as well as subscribe to our channel. Write in the comments what you think.